Now you're listening into Pulse Unscripted Podcast. Alright, welcome back. And today's topic is K-pop culture. And I think a lot of people going to relate. And we have our Biomed ambassador of K-pop, which is Yana. Okay, so basically podcast ni bukan untuk ridicule K-pop, okay? So sebab aku sendiri pun aku tak faham culture dia macam mana. So it kind of comes from myself that I want to know more about the culture and behind the fan and the stance of K-pop kan. So kau boleh explain tak macam why is K-pop is so big and so huge in Korea that it kind of macam influence the whole world?
Yeah. So, as we know kan, K-pop dah become, I think globally kan, semua orang tahu kan about K-pop kan. Maybe some
betul.
people take it in a positive way and some are not. But I think, yeah, K-pop for me is very subjective. It depends on yourself because yelah macam yang ni kan macam untuk orang tu mungkin apalah K-pop tu macam tu kan. But maybe for some people maybe by sebab kita tak tahu macam mana K-pop tu boleh make them happy ke macam tu lah. Dia macam K-pop ni sendiri yelah macam kita tahu K-pop group, we call the member of the K-pop group is idol, right? So basically kan, untuk jadi idol tu it's not very simple as kau pandai menyanyi, kau pandai menari, kau bukan handsome. Lepas tu macam kau bukan lawa. Macam tu kan. Macam tu kau terus jadi or not. Sebab diorang akan ada macam ni kan, diorang ada before diorang jadi artis tu sendiri, before diorang jadi idol tu sendiri, diorang punya entertainment tu akan macam ni macam ajar diorang tahu macam mana kau nak jadi a presentable people, macam mana kau makan pun diorang ajar. Which is macam kita macam makan pun
kita makan pun ambil makanan suap je lah.
Which is it sound ridiculous, but I think maybe the entertainment is the goals of entertainment itself is they want to make an idol which is like a perfect idol, which is can give a good example for people that see them. So I think K-pop idol, by having the title idol itself is very very huge thing, I think. And the acceptance of this K-pop idol is, I think, it's very subjective to people, and it have a positive and negative side lah about K-pop ni lah. Yeah.
What about the macam based on research yang aku buat that macam kadang-kadang K-pop macam company macam YG, SM dengan JYP Entertainment ni kan terkejut aku tahu.
Ada lagi satu kalau kau sebut habis kau kalau kau tak sebut
and untuk BTS dia aku rasa Big Hit Entertainment kan. Oh my god, you see my knowledge. Oh my god. Army, don't attack me. Okay lah, that rhymes though. Okay. In terms of macam based on apa aku baca and that macam company ni macam dia ambil budak-budak dari kecil seawal 8 tahun ke 10 tahun, tu aku tak sure, and they make them sign a contract macam long term, so called macam slave contract so boleh aku explain more on that?
Dia macam the contract itself is depends on the company lah sebenarnya, and berapa umur dia orang kan masa dia ambil tu. Sebenarnya usually yang aku tahulah yang daripada kecil ni, usually diorang pergi macam pergi contest daripada situ tau. Apa ni, company ni akan recruit diorang. But if yang daripada kecil tu, I think it's not really, I'm not sure sebab idol ni, sebab based on my orang-orang yang aku idolize lah, dia tak adalah start daripada kecil sangat pun. Dia kecil, it's around 13 years old I think. Dia daripada 13 tahun. And about the slave contract is, what do you mean by slave contract? I want to know that.
So I mean like it's a long term contract that macam kau tak boleh ada dalam relationship, kau kena oblige to macam company rules and regulation. Kalau tak, contract tu terminate and duit kau, income kau akan macam tak ada.
I'm not really sure masa diorang belum debut tau. But after diorang debut tu, memang ada contract yang macam some company memang akan buat contract yang macam no, you cannot have relationship. But ada some company also tak ada pun benda tu sebenarnya. It depends on company itself lah sebenarnya. And untuk budak-budak yang before debut ni kan, masa diorang nak before diorang become idol tu, memang sebenarnya diorang macam ni diorang tak tahu pun diorang akan debut or not. Diorang sebab
seriously lah.
Ya, sebab tu kalau kau tengok, if kau tahu lebih mendalam pasal diorang, ada je yang macam berhenti, macam stop, tak nak dah untuk jadi idol, tukar ni. Sebab it's really hard to become an idol. Sebab kau tak tahu pun future kau macam mana. And ada certain, if memang diorang punya, I don't know macam mana diorang diorang tengok someone tu untuk jadi idol. I don't know lah company buat macam mana. But some tu macam, if company rasa okay, you need to practice more, then ada some people tu can take up to 13 years untuk practice je. And aku rasa macam it's really hard lah sebenarnya. Macam cuba kau bayangkan, kau stick for your dream 13 years kau ambil masa sebelum kau boleh debut, which is take a long time lah. And I think the thing that we can learn from them is never give up lah sebenarnya. And kadang-kadang orang tak tahu kan pasal benda ni kan, unless kau memang into K-pop and kau tengok benda tu. But yeah, the reality is very hard for them. Sebab maybe some of them really want to be idol. And yeah, maybe bukan macam nasib diorang untuk jadi idol. Yeah, that's pretty sad.
And usually selalu diorang, what do they fall for? Macam apa yang diorang buat selalu based on your knowledge lah. Lepas let's say they're not as, diorang macam tak make the cut for being an idol.
Yang I don't know, but aku ada baca satu tu, dia memang terus stop and dia sambung belajar lah, macam tu lah. They try to find a new cita-cita lah sebenarnya. Sebab yelah, sebab hard kan. And I think it's not before debut, after debut pun ada. After debut pun ada yang macam macam diorang dah realise okay, I cannot do this, and diorang cut je. Diorang macam okay, stop setengah jalan, and they go into something else like business. Ada je yang macam tu. Ya, dia tengok. Ya, dia macam tu lah. K-pop, it's like, sebab kau kena buat benda tu lama kan. And I think it's very it's very hard for them. And dengan ada kontraknya, and kau kena look good every day kan.
There's like a very high expectation lah kat diorang kan. untuk apa yang aku tahu macam aku sebenarnya K-pop fan juga.
Oh.
Ramai tak tahu, tapi aku K-pop fan dekat second generation punya.
Siapa?
Ya, masa Girls' Generation,
I see.
2NE1, CN Blue, FT Island, macam apa yang lagi? 4 Minute and banyak sebab masa tu zaman sekolah kan, siapa tak suka K-pop kan, zaman sekolah menengah. But in terms of like, bila aku tengok diorang balik kan, those groups kan, they have like a certain amount of shelf life. By meaning diorang boleh last for 6 to 9 years Sebab dulu aku fikir balik, dulu bukan ada Beast ke, dulu bukan ada 2PM ke, sekarang dah tak ada dah kan.
Ada.
Macam tak. Oh, ada lagi. Ada lagi tak macam tak dalam mainstream culture
So macam itulah yang sedih pasal diorang tu. Dia macam kau akan jadi famous macam in a period of time je, and after that only certain people yang tahu. Macam tu lah. Yeah, it's quite hard to maintain your
fame.
Your fame.
So that's the problem ke aku rasa. Macam in terms of them having the pop culture relevance and
But aku rasa diorang sekarang macam contoh yang macam aku cakap second generation kan, diorang dah ada I think diorang for second generation diorang dah up to 11, 12, 13 years into this industry. And kalau kau tengok kan, diorang dah sampai tahap diorang dah try to focus on other things. Diorang tak akan stick on one thing. Macam diorang akan try go into business. Macam diorang ada certain people will stick with being an idol for a long time, but ada some juga yang akan go to another platform. Maybe because they want to try something new, I think.
Ya, aku rasa boleh relate juga macam tu. Macam Girls' Generation yang group yang aku paling suka dulu. Macam dulu kan Jessica tak silap aku. Dia Jessica keluar group sebab dia nak sambung bisnes kan.
Betul. Itu pun ada konflik sebenarnya, but kita tak tahu kan, sebab kita just know the surface,
contract
contract and what is the problem is only only diorang je yang tahu kan. So I think what I know is maybe she want to do something new. She want to try to find something new that can make herself puas lah, kan? Macam
everybody have that phase in our life kan. Cakap. But in terms of the expectation and pressure kan, aku rasa macam like kalau diorang, when I see being an idol is very very hard and betul lah apa yang kau cakap, it's very very demanding kan. And it's been so hard that the suicide rate of idol dia macam tinggi gila when compared to other genre music. Where's the problem come from actually? Is it the company? Is it the idol itself? Or dia macam daripada fans yang macam, how can I say, too harsh or too expect too high of the idol? I
think it's mix lah, mix. From fans ada, from company ada, and maybe from their inner self pun ada. And if you see ni kan yang artis yang ada suicide semua tu kan, and one of them is a cyber, dia kena cyber bully kan, which is I think
Suli apa?
Yeah, Suli, cyber bully kan. So I think the pressure lah, diorang tak dapat control the pressure, and maybe they think that the last option they have to release their burden is by suicide. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Yeah.
The cyberbullying comes from the fans, right?
Hmm?
Is it from the global fans or the like Korean fans?
Apa yang ni? Cyberbully.
Yeah.
Usually lah, if you see from news kan, I think the bully is come from their country lah, usually lah. But I don't say that ada country tak bully ke apa, sebab benda tu macam it depends on that person kan. Dia macam satu country tu takkanlah semuanya jahat, betul tak? Takkan. And satu country tu takkanlah semuanya baik. I think mix lah. Mix and fans sebenarnya they need to realise lah, macam nama pun idol kan, macam it's just idol is just like a good example for you, not for you to own, kind of like that.
Betul.
So
Kadang-kadang aku rasa diorang like have the feeling of like ownership dekat satu idol ni, macam sampai orang lain nak, for example, have an opinion on them pun dia macam very very aggressive and retaliate lah.
sebenarnya macam itulah one of problem lah in K-pop industry lah sebenarnya. Fans sendiri macam ni, yelah, setiap orang ada different style kan, and maybe I think there's something that you can follow and something that you cannot follow for this K-pop thing. Sebab contohnya macam yang kau tak boleh follow tu, contoh lah, but it depends on orang tu juga kan. Contohnya macam plastic surgery kan, macam banyak ada kan, sebab appearance, sebab dia nak jadi macam diorang punya idol, which is not good lah. Sebab setiap orang ada appearance yang lain-lain and ada unique kan. God made us different. So macam ni lah, bila kau nak ikut yang the bad thing, it's very macam ni, inappropriate lah.
Macam culture of plastic surgery itself is very strong right over there kan. Sampai aku tak tahulah betul ke tak, dia orang macam akan ada surgery untuk buat double eyelid or single eyelid
double eyelid
untuk dia orang punya birthday. Dia orang punya birthday like it becomes such a trend that it becomes like that.
I think
so. What are on like your opinion on it?
I think yang tu macam depends on culture sendiri kot. I don't know. Sebab double eye, sebab diorang ada, if I'm not really mistaken lah, sebab aku rasa aku pernah baca yang macam parents diorang bagi tahu, once you reach at certain age, then you want to do that, go ahead, macam tu lah. And I think macam kat sana dah trend. Tapi yang ni double plastic surgery is tak, macam ni orang tak cakap sangat lah sekarang. Dululah banyak orang cakap pasal ni plastic surgery ni. But sekarang I think dia ada, tapi tak adalah orang cakap sangat pasal plastic surgery ni. Mungkin sebab dah common kat sana. So orang macam okay, that's common. Yeah.
Macam sebab dia dah jadi macam the new norm kan. Kalau K-pop ni sebenarnya dia macam, if you look at overall kan, it's not only a genre of music kan. It's kind of a kind of like K-pop lifestyle. It's kind of a lifestyle itself. From that point on kan, kau rasa is it healthy to have like to follow the lifestyle of K-pop itself, or For example, buying all the merchandise and follow all the trends and clothes and all that.
Itu one of the
Sebab banyak je kedai-kedai K-pop kat Malaysia kan. Macam Spao. Orang panggil Spao ke? SPAO.
Ya, dia macam ni yang tu. Ya, what one of the macam nak cakap negatif lah pasal ni sebab dia boleh affect financial untuk orang tu lah. Sebab macam kita tahulah the barang-barang untuk K-pop ni, dia tak murah even dia punya kalau kau tengok macam even dia punya foto satu gambar pun, it's really macam ni aku cakap, ridiculous harga dia. But I think being a K-pop fan is when you need to know what is good and what is not for you to follow. Sebab ada macam kau tak boleh, kau boleh jadi K-pop fans in a long period of time, but at the same time, macam ni, ada satu masa kau akan stop tau. Kau akan stop sebab mestilah kau nak try to focus on other thing. So I think K-pop itself have both lah, positive and negative thing lah for our life.
And it comes from like a period of time lah kan. Macam contoh macam aku punya time dah pass lah. So once that second generation dah habis, aku suka K-pop pun dah macam je lah, tak into sangat lah. Even I mean like I listen to, if there's a good music, I listen to good music. Macam tu lah. Macam I open to it, not macam K-pop you the third generation tak. Aku macam I still listen to it if it sounds good. We can say that K-pop punya kekuatan lies on their fans kan. And the reason why they always have sold out concert even kat Malaysia or other countries solely because of their fan. And it is so strong to extend it. Macam dekat South Africa, dekat South Africa pun ada that strong group of fans. Kau tahu tak, ada satu cerita kawan best friend aku, dia South African. And dia pun suka K-pop juga sebab initially aku yang macam racun dia pasal K-pop kan. Tu zaman-zaman dulu tapi sekarang pun dia pun dah macam gila-gila K-pop aku rasa macam salah aku juga but it's in a good way. It's in a good way. And dia suka K-pop to extent he goes to a Korean culture festival and he dances for like a K-pop dance, and then he won it to that extent. And then the fans of South Africa pun ada pernah sekali dia cerita kat aku, and that a BTS ARMY fan rented a advertisement space dekat bus to place a BTS poster on that.
It's quite cool.
So they crowdfunding to have that. Benda tu macam common ke dalam K-pop stand ni?
I think kalau dekat other country tak adalah nampak sangat, but in macam in Korea aku boleh nampak tau macam mana fan support dia orang lah. And if macam contoh lah, macam hari tu keluar dekat news Blink what we call that, Blackpink fans macam rent a bus untuk buat macam protes, macam they want Rose punya debut, solo debut macam tu lah. So macam I think it's quite common lah untuk diorang lah. But other country I think your friend tu memang macam kat sini pun tak
macam level-level gila kan.
Dia macam kat sini pun tak adalah nampak sangat kan yang macam tu kan. I think dekat ni lah more dekat Korea lah, it's more common lah. dekat Korea.
Dekat Malaysia pernah ke ada macam
I'm not really sure sebab
that kind of level? Yang aku pernah tengok je masa Burn That Stage punya movie show opening je, sebab ada group of like girls yang buat flash mob.
Dia macam mana
Tak tahulah tu yang GSC or other company buat.
Dia ada
organize
dia ada, tapi macam mana, macam kau tahu lah macam tu lah. Dia macam sebab
yeah, you know lah.
sebab K-pop is not our culture kan. So macam if you really know about K-pop, then you know about it. Macam tu lah. And kat sini pun ada juga yang macam if contohlah if today someone birthday, then diorang akan celebrate. Macam okay, kita kumpul semua, macam tu lah. Tapi aku tak pernah lah pergi lagi. But I think it's macam diorang try. I think it's in a positive way. I think it's good to have new friend lah. Macam dari situ kau boleh dapat kawan baru, and kau share the same thing that you like kan. I think dari situ pun it's a good thing about that. And macam yelah, setiap benda yang kita buat akan ada baik dan buruk dia kan.
Aku rasa there's a huge sense of belonging and a huge sense of being in a community itself. From like for them going to meet and greet or those like gathering, which is a good thing. Tapi itulah aku rasa macam ramai orang have a negative notion toward them lah. And tak ramai orang understand kot.
Benda ni subjektif kan, sebab tak semua akan minat benda yang sama, and mesti akan ada negative thing lah from others. Macam bersuka semua ni, but macam yelah, itu kan macam kau punya own, macam nak cakap, macam your own opinion lah sebenarnya. And dia macam mana kau minat football, macam tu lah. Macam mana kau minat macam kau minat game, macam tu lah. Dia sama je, cuma at fan side pula diorang tak boleh lah macam make it macam, if ada satu kesalahan kau tak boleh lah macam protect gila-gila. For me, if the idol bring negative thing for you, then you should macam okay, stop lah benda tu, sebab kau tahu kan benda tu negatif kan, and it's not good for you. Macam tu lah. Sebab daripada K-pop tu, sebab kita boleh belajar lots of thing tau. And sebenarnya dia ada negatif, but the positive things is a lot lah. Banyak gila dekat K-pop ni sebenarnya. And if you try to learn to understand about this K-pop tinggi, and aku rasa kau boleh faham lah kenapa diorang banyak gila fans yang macam adore diorang lah. Aku rasa sebab kau pun ni kan, kau pun pernah jadi K-pop fans kan. I think macam
pernah jadi.
I think positive way kan about K-pop is, for me lah, dia ajar kau macam mana dia macam, it also as a support, emotional support sebenarnya. Sebab for example for example macam BTS kan, maybe orang macam kenapa dengar lagu ni, kenapa bla, kan banyak komen kan. But if kau try to understand, try to learn about them, it's very macam wow tau sebenarnya. Macam mana diorang start daripada bawah, macam mana diorang naik slow-slow tau. Diorang bukan yang macam form daripada Big Hit is not a big company tau at first. So daripada macam mana diorang daripada kecil tu, diorang boleh jadi besar globally. And kalau kau tengok daripada awal kan, dia punya lagu, dia punya, aku suka dengar lagu, aku suka tengok lirik dia tau. And BTS memang the best lah. In term of lyric, memang wow, deep gila. And I think it's one of the emotional support lah.
Never thought of that. Sebab macam aku kadang-kadang aku dengar je, kadang-kadang tak dah kisah sangat pasal lirik kan. Except bila aku dengar Lisan memang aku baca lirik dia.
Oh ya, Lisang.
Siapkan Gary punya ni.
True. Diorang banyak sangat macam ni lah, good lirik lah. Macam yang aku bagi example lah, for kalau emotional support kan, kau boleh dengar lagu BTS. Try to cari lagu-lagu diorang macam, the latest is aku suka dengar lagu ni lah, lagu Zero O'Clock dia. Itu pun deep. And B2B, group B2B, dia macam in sense of bila aku rasa pressure kan, bila aku rasa stress, bila aku dengar, aku rasa oh okay, ada something yang boleh comfort aku, macam tu lah.
I mean like kadang-kadang if we so focus on negative, actually there's a lot of positive kan that come from K-pop culture itself. Macam most of the girls that love K-pop can speak Korean fluently or can read and write. Like to the extent the love of K-pop itself sampai it forces them to learn the language and culture and learn how to speak Hangul. Hangul
Hangul is diorang punya ayat lah, speak Korean lah.
Itulah macam untuk aku macam wow hebat gila siap.
Korean kan, one of the best thing about Korean kan, diorang bagus macam mana macam mana diorang spread diorang punya culture. Macam through idol, kalau kau tengok kan, sikit je yang idol yang tahu English. Perasan tak? Bila diorang interview dekat luar negara pun, okay, diorang ada translator, then diorang akan cakap Korean. Betul tak? Macam ada certain je yang tahu memang betul-betul fully English lah. But
macam to anyone CL yang selalu cakap kan.
Dia macam daripada situ kan, sebenarnya diorang bawa diorang punya culture tau. Diorang show to others dia punya culture tau. K-pop, not K-pop culture, Korean culture. And kita pun yang macam kita yang fans pun macam wow, okay, macam best je. Kita pun try kan, which is diorang pandai macam ni in term of macam spread their culture lah. Sebenarnya Korean culture is very very interesting. Yeah. So
kadang-kadang pun there's a lot of things that we can learn from them juga kan. Sebab kadang-kadang bila kita feel we want to spread our culture itself, kita pun rasa macam malu kan.
Betul.
Kalau kita compare tengok dekat orang lain, macam diri kita dengan orang Korea, macam they're more into inclusive and more open lah to spread their own culture, and diorang tak takut lah. Sebab tu lah ada satu cerita lah about spreading culture, and since we're in topic of spreading culture, ada sekali tu aku pakai template card dekat Vietnam. Jalan-jalan. Aku member aku dengan muka tak malu je pakai template card keluar hotel. Lepas tu jalan-jalan lah. Lepas tu ada macam a group of our friends lah, sebab setelah aku pergi conference and then a group of my friends, there's a Cambodian and lepas tu perempuan Cambodia tu cakap, why you dress like girl? And aku macam what? Sebab dia ingat kan play tu macam skirt kan.
Macam skirt.
So aku macam okay, no girl, boy, man. And I explain lah kat dia tu, faham lah. I think you need to pass the fear from like being afraid of showing your own culture kat orang lain kot. So, that's the biggest thing I think we can learn from K-pop kan.
Sebab macam mana kita interested dengan diorang punya culture, diorang pun interested dengan kita punya culture. Contohnya macam, pernah tengok tak Blimey, YouTuber Blimey? Kan dia kan macam more macam video dia,
YouTuber yang selalu buat review tu
about Malaysia kan,
culture review tu.
And I think diorang pun macam mana kita fascinated with Korean culture, diorang pun sama sebenarnya. And it's good thing sebenarnya kita boleh exchange macam mana, macam oh korang macam ni, lepas tu diorang pun macam oh korang macam ni, macam it's good thing lah sebenarnya. And sebelum ni macam aku rasa kau tahu kan yang apa ni, yang aku ada kenal seorang uni dekat UPM kan masa around first year I think. No first year, dia masa asasi. And dia pun macam masa dia datang rumah aku kan, dia macam oh rupa-rupanya macam ni, oh macam ni. Dia macam dia punya thought kan, awal-awal dia ingat kita ni lain tau, but sebenarnya kita sama je. Dia macam dia tengok macam oh I thought macam masa tu macam kita orang macam quarrel lah, adik-beradik kan. Kan selalu suka ngajuk-ngajuk semua kan. Lepas tu dia macam oh I thought tak ada, macam sebenarnya macam sama je dengan Korea sebenarnya. Macam masa tu lah dia realise about that. And apa ni, macam new things about our religion, diorang try to understand tau. And it's good lah sebenarnya. And yeah, she's really open. Even though she's Christian, but she's really open. Macam masa tu kita orang jalan pergi KLCC, show untuk tunjuk dia kan kat LCC kan. And then sebab and then dia tanya, apa ni, sebelum tu dia dah tahulah okay waktu solat kita Zuhur pukul berapa, asar pukul berapa semua kan. Once masa tu once dah masuk waktu, dia macam you need to go now, you need to go prayer now. Padahal kita macam kita ada masa kan, kita ada macam pukul berapa kan.
Kita let lu
but dia macam no you need to go now. Macam wow, daripada dia orang tahu, daripada ada religions, macam wow. Sebab tu lah aku macam kadang-kadang kan macam kau kena macam we need to understand each other lah sebenarnya. Diorang try to understand kita, and at the same time kita try to understand diorang lah sebenarnya.
Yeah guys, I hope that this podcast will clarify everything.
Yeah.
Because ambassador of K-pop, I did explain to you. So with that bombshell, we end the podcast. So thank you Yana for being here.
Okay.
Alright, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.